to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws in 1975. This meeting notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press on August 1st, 2017, and has been duly advertised in the Asbury Park Press issue of August 3rd, 2017. All municipal clerks of the townships and boroughs within the Regional High School District have been duly notified, and the requirements of posting of notices have been met. On August 1st, 2017, can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice under God.
All right, we'll begin our presentation with the superintendent's report of the agenda, and we'll start with the Student Recognition Awards. Mr. Sampson.
All right, thank you, Mr. Messinger, and good evening, folks. First and foremost, to the parents and students, thank you for coming out this evening. I know that June and toward the end of the school year is certainly a busy time for everyone, but we feel it really incredibly important that there's 3 times a year where we honor our students for so many accomplishments across this district, and we have so much to be proud for and so much to celebrate that I'm glad that you've come out this evening to celebrate your children with us. So we will go through each of the 6 high schools. I'd ask as much as possible folks can sit through the presentation. Trust me, you'll be wowed by the accomplishment of many of these young men and women who represent the Freehold Regional High School District in such a remarkable manner. So I'm going to open up the evening with representation from Howell High School.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeremy Braverman. I'm the principal at Howell High School. First, like to thank the Board of Education, Mr. Sampson, Central Office, for all the support and allowing us to give district medals out this evening. It's all right. Also want to thank all the recipients tonight for coming, and it surely is an honor to receive a district medal. And lastly, thank all the parents who are here tonight. I want to begin with introducing some members of our TSA, Technology Student Association. We're fortunate to have a phenomenal TSA group at Howell High School, led by the amazing Sherry Roses, who's here in the crowd tonight. Mrs. Roses, why don't you come on up? So I'm going to call up all the students who have won awards for TSA, and then I'll talk about them as they are up here. So first, I'd like to call up Deanna Lucas, Kayla DeVosa, Nicholas Borkamp, James Guinea, Deanna Lucas, and David Wagenblast. If you guys can come up. When you come up, come grab your medals first, and then stand over here. I'll say some nice things about you, and then we'll take a picture. Okay, so there were 10 students inducted into the National Technology Honor Society in New Jersey this year. 10 students. One of them was from Howell High School, and that was Deanna Lucas. These students attended a design challenge, and the Dragster Design First Place Award winner was Kayla DeVosa.
Yes, Kayla.
First place in the prepared presentation, Nicholas Borkamp. And then 19 students in New Jersey earned the Gold National Achievement Award for Excellence in Career and Personal Planning, Leadership, School, and Community Service, and Technology Literacy. 3 of the 19 students who are from Howell High School. They are James Guinea, Deanna Lucas, and David Wagenblast. Thank you, TSA. Next is the Count Basie Awards, and some other of my colleagues will be talking about the Basie Awards as well. Just to give you an idea, the Basie Awards are kind of the Tony Awards in Monmouth and Ocean County. There's representatives from Count Basie who go to all the musicals and all the dramas throughout the year, and they pick the winners, and there's nominations, and ultimately at Count Basie Theater, one night in May, they give out awards. And we were fortunate this year to have 2 awards. Our first award went to the Outstanding Featured Female Performer in her role in Mary Poppins, Ariana Mubanda. Next award, Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama for his role in 20th Century, Mr. Sean Gassaway. And those are the Howell Basie Award winners. Thank you. Next up, all Shore Band members. So I'm gonna call your name. As I call your name, come up and grab your medal and then stay here for the picture. We have a lot of them. Led by Mr. Lamaldi, first, Mary Kate Donaway, Melissa Paramonti, John Lamaldi, Annalise Tarano, Simone Marr, Olivia Ferrara, Rohan Malik, Nick Salerno, Ryan Marquise, Samantha Chavarro, David Montegri, Jason Braun, Justin Perez, David Maddow, Kristen Redding, and Mike Fiorello, all Shore Band. Ladies and gentlemen, all Shore Band members. All right, you guys can head back. We're going to bring on the choir now. All Shore Chorus. This year we had a bunch of them, and I'm going to bring them all up. First up, Michaela Long, Jackie Smith, Maria Utz, Carly Goldfarb, Samantha Balumis, Kristen Natoli, Jessica Dolch, Jessica Ganito, Kaylin Bernazzoli, Vicky Fleisch, Emily Hugen, Brooke Donzello, Samantha Chavarro, Josh Ricklin, Robbie Montora, Tommy Becerra, and Joe Graziano. All right, thank you. Sonny will be back up shortly. Next, we have All-State Chorus, 18 members of Howell High School, the most in Monmouth and Ocean County, 18 members, All-State Chorus. Ben Carino, Christian Katam, Joe Graziano, Ava Lamatia, Zoe Morocco, Robbie Montoro, Samantha Polimis, Izzy Ramirez, Anthony Riello, Alec Roscoe, Maya St. Anna, Vicky Fleisch, Sierra Flores, Julia Lupi, Jacqueline Smith, Maria Utz, Emily Hugin, and Christina Natoli. Quick photo op here. We good? Ladies and gentlemen, all state chorus. Congratulations. Our last two awards are from the athletic fields. I'm going to turn it over to the supervisor of extracurricular activities, Mr. Pete Meehan.
We had great spring over Howell High School, but I have two young ladies I'd really like to bring up here. They are exceptional throughout the entire year. Brianna Wilson, could you please join me up here at the podium? Brianna Wilson was part of our track team this year. She was named first team All-Shore. She took first place in shot put at Monmouth County Championships, first place in discus Monmouth County Championships, fifth place shot short conference championships, second place discus short conference championships, second place discus Group 4 Central Jersey sectionals, and fourth place for shot put in Group 4 Central Jersey sectionals. She did all these accomplishments this year, and she's a freshman. Congratulations. Paige Seminaro, could you please join us up here at the podium? Paige Seminaro competed on our golf team this year. She was the only female golfer we had on our team. She was probably our best golfer on the team. She was named first team All-Shore. She took second place in Monmouth County tournament. She took second place in the short conference tournament. She took first place in the Frio Regional High School District tournament. She set the school record for low scores in a tournament in every tournament she played in this season. And yes, we have another freshman up here. Congratulations. For Howell High School, Mr. Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Meehan. Thank you, Mr. Braverman. And so if you haven't caught on, what we'd like to do is have the kids come down, get their medals, and then it's just a nice quick photo opportunity for the parents and guardians in the audience. So now I'd like to call up representation from Manalapan High School.
Good evening, I'm Adam Angelozzi, the principal of Manalapan High School. I would first like to thank the Board of Education, the Central Office Administration, and Mr. Sampson for honoring our schools and our students this evening. Additionally, I would like to congratulate all of the other district medal recipients. To begin, I would first like to recognize Manalapan High School's Junior State of America chapter for earning the distinction of National Civic Impact Award winner, which is awarded to the top JSA chapter nationally. Our JSA advisor, Ms. Erica Schaefer, is with us this evening. Ms. Schaefer, you have to come down to the front as well. I am going to announce the students. It's a large group, so please hold your applause till the end. To begin, we have our president, Spencer Goldberg, Michelle Abramo, Tyler Amalfa, Lana Andrus, Michael Abnett, Aaron Ayers, Brian Beaker, Megana Bindig Anavale, Matthew Blank, Sam Bloom, Gabriella Boriskevich, Sarah Broslavitz, Frederick Bruto, Melissa Brutzman, Adam Buckhalter, Victoria Castronova, Satira Kays, Ethan Charles, Isaac Chirian, Tharun Chinnasamy, Michael Clark, Emma Connolly, Kayla Cotter, Shannon Crow, Deanna DiCarlo, Sarish Diotale, Joe Deege, Gabby Dorsey, Abigail DeMello, Justin Esposito, Jack Fallon, Henry Fiedlow, Shopi Fofa, Michelle Foxman, Alexander Fuzelov, Yakov Fuzelov, Nikki Galasso, Raheel Gandhi, Ben Gelfand, Thomas Goon, Rebecca Guilfoyle, Kyrie Humina, Rohan Gupta, Ananya Hajra, EJ Hanna, Andrew Iluzzi, Ryan Jackson, Aditya Chituri, Rick Joseph, Milan Kaganov, William Kang, Ajni Kapadia, Gaurav Karkanis, Christine Currens, Aviva Kern, Aniket Khanna, Siddharth Kali, Akansha Kothari, Melissa Kwong, Dennis Latman, Grace Loftus, Andrew Lowe, Andrew Lohr, Ashton Lukianovsky, Nihal Lund, Ryan Lyubimov, Ben Malikov, Victoria Maislish, Dylan McFarland, Allison McNicholas, Sachin Naraparaju, Yashil Pandya, Kushi Parikh, Anjali Patel, Krupa Patel, Mega Patel, Jacqueline Patosa, Bianca Pisani, Alexander Brzezinski, Anusha Reyna, Brandon Rishi, Allison Robbins, Shreyas Selvaraj, Ben Servita, Dara Shaw, Ashad Sheikh, Raul Sharma, Einat Sher, Katie Sullivan, Natalie Van, Joshua Viras, Olivia Winter, Michael Yakubov, and Ariel Rakovitsky. And Josh Rakovitsky. Each year, the Junior State of America awards its National Civic Impact Award to the top JSA chapter that demonstrates its values of engagement, inclusion, leadership, and empowerment. JSA chapters across the country vie for this coveted title, winning their individual JSA State Top Chapter Award. Our JSA was also recognized for being the Mid-Atlantic Chapter of the Year. Chapters are judged based on chapter activities, leadership, chapter interest, we have a little chapter interest up here, and community involvement. These students held voter registration drives, hosted question and answer forums with local and state officials, volunteered to assist in counting votes for a local municipality, volunteered their time at local community organizations, hosted a chapter conference, and attended all state, regional, and national conferences. Congratulations to this year's Junior State of America National Civic Impact Award winners from Manalapan High School. can all grab a seat except Ariel Rakovitsky, who has to stay up here, right over here. Wonderful showing by JSA tonight. While everyone's getting seated, I asked Ariel to stay up because he was recently named as a National Merit Scholarship Program Award recipient. Of the 15,000 finalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program, the award recipients are chosen based on their abilities, skills, and accomplishments. Furthermore, Ariel was elected as the Junior State of America Governor for the entire Mid-Atlantic region. This past school year, he earned the distinction of Coca-Cola Scholar. And last but not least, he will be attending Princeton University in the fall. Nice job, Ariel. Now on to a unique accomplishment for 5 students in the Law Enforcement and Public Safety Magnet Program. I'm asking the following students to join me at the podium. William Spector, Richard Flieger, Taylor Acevedo, Drew Bertinelli, and Edward Burns. On June 1st, these 5 Law Enforcement and Public Safety Magnet Program students made district history by entering into the first ever Monmouth County Class 1 Police Officer Certification Program, specifically created to support the law programs offered at local high schools within the county. They're currently in the academy now. Our students gave up senior week activities in order to arrive at the Monmouth County Police Academy by 7 a.m. each day to line up in formation and 10 to 7 hours of class work for 9 days. Students earning the certificate are able to work with local police departments upon their graduation as Class 1 officers. As a matter of fact, the one student missing tonight, Richard, is not with us due to an orientation or job training responsibility with the Lavalette Police Department, where he will be working over the summer. Our students knew full well that their performance in this class would pave the path for future LEP students interested in becoming career ready upon graduation. I also have to give a special shout out to Mrs. Michelle Lilly, our LEPS program supervisor, and Director Breckenridge of the Monmouth County Police Academy for making this happen. Congratulations. I will now turn the Nalapins portion of the program over to Mr. Rodney Taylor, Supervisor of Extracurricular Activities.
Good evening, everyone. I am proud to announce the recipient of tonight's medal winners for the Manalapan High School Band. Each one of these students were selected after an intense audition. In some cases, they competed against 30 to 40 students of the same instrument to make that ensemble. Our first is Mr. Anthony Sarcelli, who earned All Shore Jazz Band for the trumpet. Please come down. Next, we have Zachary Weiss, who also earned All Shore Jazz Band for the trumpet. Aiden Bonomo, earned All Shore Symphonic Band honors in the trombone. Antonio Mora also earned All Shore Symphonic Band honors for percussions. Alexa Poling earned All Shore Symphonic Band honors for the clarinet. And Melissa Smith, who also earned All Shore Symphonic Band for the clarinet, has done so all 4 years of her high school career. Now to the next two students who earned both All Shore Symphonic Band and also All Shore Jazz Band honors. We have Zachary Sloan with the tenor saxophone, and Carlos Orta for the trumpet. Congratulations to our All Shore Band members. Our next medal winner from Manalapan High School was captain of our A North champion baseball team. He is a two-time Carpenter Cup winner. He has maintained over 300 batting average during his 3-year varsity career, and his .385 average and phenomenal center field play has earned him A North Hitter of the Year and First Team All-Shore honors. Congratulations to Mr. Giovanni Ciaccio. That concludes our medals from Manalapan High School. Congratulations to all the students.
Thank you, Dr. Angelosi, Mr. Taylor. Now I'd like to call up representation from Marlboro High School.
Good evening, I'm David Bleakley, principal at Marlboro High School. Congratulations to all the district medal winners and your families. It's truly a special accomplishment. Whatever you did to land yourself here tonight, congratulations to all of you on your hard work. For Marlboro High School, we're going to begin with recognition of a number of our students involved with Rutgers Model Congress. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the names, and just like the others have done, come stand up front, and then I'll talk about what you accomplished. So first we have Jeffrey Allentoff, Brandon Buscarmera, Paul Capuzzo, Nadine Jelani, Rohan Gohel, Sanjay Gotur, Skylar Yeager, Yash Kamdar, Colleen McPolling, Patrick McPolling, Adarsh Patel, Madsi Patel, Priyanka Pillai, Gabriela Portugal, Aditya Prasad, Noah Schneider, Spencer Siegel, Ambika Sinha, Linda Sun, Zach Sperling, and Nadish Sharma. So So Marlboro High School's model government team participated in a 4-day government simulation with high schools across New Jersey and the tri-state area. 29 students participated in congressional and senatorial committees, the Supreme Court, lobbying groups, and current and historical cabinet situation rooms. For the 5th time in 6 years, Marlboro High School's delegation was recognized as one of the top performers with the Best School Delegation. It is the 3rd consecutive time that Marlboro High School has won first place. Congratulations. Next from Marlboro High School, I'd like to call up Shreya Das. Shreya is one of our TSA, or Technology Students Association members. TSA has an essay contest, and Shreya won first place for her essay on internet privacy. Who knows you better, Google or your neighbor? What's the answer, by the way, Shreya? Your neighbor? You say so. All right, congratulations on your first place honor. At this time, I'm going to invite Mr. Ryden, our supervisor of extracurricular activities, to complete Marlboro's awards.
Good evening. I'd like to call up representatives of our Junior Statesmen of America. The following students earned a gavel, which is equivalent to first place in the state in their debate at the Spring State Convention. Ryan Corbin, Hannah Zabirman, Sarah Sajid, Toya Daz, Abhijay Gwar, Brandon Brabham, Jerry Vagilat. Congratulations, Margaret Jill Seaman. Marlboro High School also was represented well at the BASI Awards this year. First, I'm going to call up Mr. Pat Dalton. Director Anthony Greco did get a BASI Award for Best Lighting. But what Mr. Dalton's most known for is our orchestra director. We also won Best Student Orchestra. So when I call your name, come on down. Jeffrey Allentoff. Tanya Aria. Sarah Bongiorno, Larry Dalton, Elizabeth DeJarnette, Isaiah DeJarnette, Divyak Desai, Pooja Gokale, Sanjay Gatur, Avani Muchala, Aditya Prasad, Nicholas Roka Kim, Tyler Roka Kim, Alexander Rodenborn, Eric Schmalz-Reed, Tyler Selliver, Emily Sun, Charles Tang, Stephanie Ewan, Andrew Zagardi.
Yeah, congratulations to our student orchestra.
And last, in our world of athletics, I'd like to call up Gianna Gomez. Gianna Gomez, in the world of track and field, is this year's short conference triple jump champion, the Central Jersey Group 4 long jump champion. She qualified in both the long jump and the triple jump at the Meet of Champions. She also won the Eastern State title in both events. She set the Marlboro High School record in long jump, jumping 18 feet 9 inches, and she jumped a career best 37 feet 9 inches in the triple jump. Congratulations. That concludes Marlboro. I'll turn it over to Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Dr. Bleakley. Mr. Ryden, I'd now like to call up Colts Neck High School.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Mr. Arnao and myself, I'd like to first thank the administration and the Board of Education for giving us the opportunity tonight to recognize all of our students, their athletic and academic achievements. I'd also like to congratulate the administration, coaches, parents, and students from our fellow district schools. You truly represented yourself well tonight. Tonight we have, from Colts Neck High School, our first award is an Eagle Scout. The Eagle Scout is the highest achievement or rank attainable in Boy Scouting. In the Boy Scouting program for the Boy Scouts of America. The designation Eagle Scout was founded over 100 years ago. Only 4% of Boy Scouts are granted this rank after a lengthy review process, which also requires that the candidate complete a service project. Tonight, I'd like to bring up Harris Alam. For Harris's Eagle Scout project, he rebuilt firewood holders for a local Girl Scout camp. Harris maintained the previous designs but made them larger, more stable, and weather resistant. Harris contacted numerous companies for the donation of materials, ultimately receiving donations that netted $900. He spent 105 hours planning, presenting, and building the project. He also led a team of volunteers to help, bringing the total man hours to 257 hours. Harris said about the project, "In my life, I've had many challenges, none of which have taught me and interested me as much as my Eagle project." Congratulations to Harris. I'd like to turn Colts Neck's portion over to Mr. Arnao, our Supervisor of Extracurricular Activities.
Thank you, Dr. Donahue. I would first like to call up Jerry Lopez. Jerry played as Colts Neck High School's #1 singles player and was undefeated in A North matches this year. He helped lead the team to an 18-3 record and to a state sectional finals match. Jerry is only a junior at Colts Neck and will be back for his senior season. His efforts earned him first team All-Shore this year. Congratulations to Jerry. Look forward to next year. I'd like to call up Andrew Finnegan. Andrew is part of Colts Neck High School's boys volleyball team, which had one of its best seasons since its inception in 1998. They reached the highest state ranking in the school's history at number 11 in New Jersey, and Andrew was a big part of that success. He earned first team All-Shore honors, and he will be attending Ramapo College next year, where he will continue playing volleyball. Congratulations, Andrew. Allie Largy could not be here tonight, but I want to just mention a brief thing about Allie. She scored 105 goals in girls lacrosse, had 41 assists during the 2018 season. She was the top point scorer in the short conference, earned first team All-A North and first team All-Shore honors. She can't be here tonight because she's at the Senior All-Star game at Middletown South, so congratulations to Allie.
Our girls spring track team won their first state sectional title for the spring. Unfortunately, their team banquet is tonight, so that conflicted and they were unable to make it, but congratulations to girls spring track. And finally, I'd like to call up our girls bowling team. Coach York and Coach Carl. This is a winter sport, but they had a conflict in the winter, and so we made time for them this spring. In the winter season of 2018, the Colts Neck High School girls bowling team won their first ever state sectional title. They were picked 6th in the section, and they won the group by defeating the next closest team by 182 pins. The good news for this Colts Neck High School team is that none of the 5 bowlers are seniors, and so all 5 can be back to defend their title in 2019. Their names are Gianna Beaumont, Victoria Hulse, Erica Dugan, Juliana Galano, and Morgan Gidlitz. Congratulations. That concludes the district medals for Colts Neck High School.
Thank you, Mr. Arneo and Dr. Donahue. I'd now like to call up Freehold High School.
Good evening, everyone. And as I was sitting there listening to all of the accomplishments, the one thing that I think resonated with me is that it doesn't matter exactly what award was being given, but for every single one, the hours of effort and dedication and parental support that went behind receiving that medal was pretty much astounding when I think about that, and if you give that just a little pause for thought. I want to thank the Board of Education and Central Administration for providing the support that we need at the building level for all of the different activities to be able to take place in a district this size. I'm going to start this evening with acknowledging 2 of our students who had outstanding achievements in DECA, and I'd like the advisor, Ms. Halpin, also to come forward. That would be Nicholas Brophy and Joseph Famularo. Years ago, DECA stood for Distributed Education Clubs of America, and that's when it was primarily focused on marketing. It is not an acronym any longer. DECA is just DECA, and it does a lot of different things for the world of business and for the experiences for students to have in the world of business. Nick Brophy is a junior at Freehold High School, and once again, Freehold will be represented at the state level with an officer. He has been elected as the New Jersey DECA Central Region Vice President. This year, he traveled along with many of our other students and the advisor down to the National Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. And he also served this year as our Chapter VP of Career Development. And he has helped along with all of the students, as well as the advisor, Ms. Halpin, grow in size. We are now in our school, which is about 1,400 kids. We have 230 members in our DECA organization, so it really has taken on at Freehold High School. The other person that I would like to acknowledge is Joseph Famularo. Joe is a senior. He is... there's not many of us here, but we can clap. Joe has been a DECA member for 2 years, and he competes in sports and the entertainment marketing. He competed at the state conference for the past 2 years, and then he qualified to compete in Atlanta, Georgia, where he placed at the national competition, placed first on the test out of 256 students. So overall, he was in the top 10% of all of the students who competed at the national conference in Atlanta. It's really quite an achievement. Next year, he will be attending the University of Miami, where he will major in, no surprise here, business. So congratulations to Ms. Halpin and our two DECA students. You've heard a little bit about Eagle Scouts from Dr. Donahue. I'd like our Eagle Scout from Freehold High School, Dennis Ballatino, to come forward, please. I'm so pleased you wore your uniform. Really, that looks great. That's right. That was a good answer there. So you heard that in order to be an Eagle Scout, you have to embrace a project. And Dennis is a member of Freehold Troop 155, which is out of West Freehold. And the park is in his development, and his troop actually adopted the park, and they do quarterly cleanups every year. So when it came time for his Eagle Scout project, he decided that he wanted to expand the offerings in the park so the neighborhood kids would have a little more to do. And he built, which I didn't even know what it was, I had to research it, I'm dating myself, a Gaga pit, which is, for some of you, will know it as like a sophisticated dodgeball. And that's what he did. And according to everybody I spoke to, it has become quite a place to go, thing to do at Winfield Park. So it was a great idea. I also want to say that because we are a district that values academics as well as the extracurricular, he was most recently made the Order of the Arrow of the Boy Scouts of America, which is the honor society, and he was elected chief, which is a really prestigious honor. So congratulations. And now, Mr. Longo, Supervisor of Extracurricular Activities.
Thank you, Mrs. Jewell. From the athletic fields, we would like to recognize a couple of our seniors before they graduate this year. First, I'd like to call down one of our track athletes, Matthew Degnan. Come on down, Matt. Matt Degnan was one of our javelin experts this year. Matt's accomplishments this year include an A North Divisional Championship, Monmouth County Championship, Monmouth County Relay Championship. He took third place in the short conference. He was also the Central Jersey Group 3 State Sectional Champion. He qualified, after that he went on to the group meet and qualified for the Meet of Champions. Matt now owns our school record with a throw of 177 feet, 1 inch. And next year in the fall, Matt will attend the University of Dayton. Congratulations, Matt. Next, I'd like to call down one of our, I'll say, emotional leaders of our baseball team, Phil Marcantonio. Phil was our star catcher for the last 2 years, and then this year he started out playing catcher and decided that the team could probably best use him in other areas, so he finished the season playing first base. But that did not stop him from gaining some notoriety as a catcher. Phil was named first team All-Shore. He was also first team All-A North catcher. Phil was recently selected to play in the Carpenter Cup team this summer. And he was also voted to the New Jersey Baseball Coaches Association Senior All-Star Game, which I believe will be played tomorrow night at the Blue Claw Stadium. Phil is congratulations. Phil, hold on. Phil is a 3-year varsity letter winner. He has a career .343 batting average, and he will attend the Kane University in the fall. Congratulations. That concludes Freehold High School's portion. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Longo and Ms. Jewell. I'd now like to call up Freehold Township High School.
Again, I'd like to congratulate all the students who were in attendance and still are here this evening and who were recognized for their outstanding achievements. I'd also like to thank all the parents for the support they provided to our students to make an evening like this possible, along with Central Administration and the Board of Education. As you have heard, the rank of Eagle Scout carries a special significance. We have one of our own this evening, James Swithers, if you could please come up. James was inspired to join the Scouts by his older brother and has been a Scout for his entire life. To earn the rank of Eagle Scout, James renovated a closet in his church to provide more storage and organization. James will be attending Brookdale this fall. Congratulations, James, on achieving this prestigious honor. Thank you. At Freehope Township High School, we house the Animal and Botanical Science Academy. Students from throughout the regional district can apply and attend. All students of our academy are members of the school's chapter of FFA. At this year's 89th annual New Jersey State FFA Convention, we had multiple students recognized and even more at the spring career development events. At this time, will all of our FFA members who are in attendance come up, and then I will be speaking about their accomplishments. Our FFA's agricultural sales placed first in the entire state. The team members are Madison Stein, TJ Aluzzi, Laura Nee, and Ariel Yu. We also had 8 students earn first place in the official ceremonies. These 8 students are Renee Hurning, Nicole Halamapudis, Olivia Simon, Elizabeth Steinhardt, Laura Nay, Alyssa Bernito, Brianna Shelton, and Gabrielle Villanova. Also, Elizabeth also won first place in the employment skills category. I'm very proud of this academy. You do a lot of hard work. Congratulations. And now I'd like to introduce my Sika, Mr. Prasadi.
All right, first I'd like to call Valentina Privatira. Valentina is a member of our FCCLA, and she earned the most prestigious award handed out at the spring conference, the Gold Award. Valentina is a leader in our school community, and we are very proud of her for her many accomplishments, including this honor. Congratulations, Valentina. We have 2 young people in the audience. I think they're in the back, so all of them get a head start. Riley Martin and Caleb Zettel. Yes. Did I pronounce that last name correctly? I got a share, so I figured it was like a commonly mispronounced name. Riley and Caleb are our school representatives on the All-State Mixed Chorus. They are chosen from a pool of over 500 participants. They're going to have the opportunity to attend rehearsals and then perform at Atlantic City's Convention Hall and then at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center next November. Congratulations, Caleb and Riley. I'm actually going to go off script a little bit because we have a few people who are not here. So we have a few short conference champions from Freehold Township High School this year. The first I'm going to mention is Sophia Ewan. She's a sophomore high jumper. She won the short conference championship. She also won the Monmouth County Championship and the Monmouth County Relay Championship in the high jump. She's also named first team All-Shore. She could not be here tonight due to a prior commitment, but she's only a sophomore, so the sky's the limit for her. 2 senior lacrosse players that could not be here tonight because of the aforementioned short conference All-Star game. Kai Martin and Michelle Pasquale. Both girls were first team All-Shore, All-Division. They're representing our school at the All-Star game this evening, as well as the state All-Star game. A couple things about each of them. Kai Martin set a school record for goals in a game with 11 in our first round state game against Howell. She's going to be attending Ohio State University in the fall on a full scholarship. Michelle set school records for a season this year in goals scored with 94, assists with 45, and then combined points, which is goals and assists. She's only the 2nd player in our school's history to surpass 200 career goals. Like Kai, Michelle earned first team All-Shore, All-Division. She was also voted A North Player of the Year and is representing us at the State and Short Conference All-Star Games. She's going to continue her career at Stockton University in the fall, so we're very proud of those 2 young ladies. Zoe Valentino, come on up.
Zoe Valentino is one of a group of sophomores that lead our softball team. This is the second year that they've had a big impact on our team. This year was even better than last year. We expect the next 2 years to be even better than that. Zoe was named first team All-Shore as catcher/designated player. She has already set the single season records for home runs and RBI this year. She already, as a sophomore, has set the career record for home runs. She's on pace to shatter multiple other offensive records. I think it's a good thing she got what she got this year, because she'll probably set the record for walks the next couple of years. Congratulations, Zoe. While I don't need to give these guys a head start, I will. So will our short conference championship 4x4 team of Tyler Kelly, Felix Lawrence, Parker Scherer, and Dan Crowley. Please come on up. All right. So this is our 4x400 meter relay team for our track and field team. They were second place at the Monmouth County Championships. They were just getting started. They saved their best for the short conference championship, where they finished in first place. The boys qualified out of sectionals to groups and all the way to meet of champions. 3/4 of this team will return next year as they are juniors. As much as we will miss Dan Crowley there at the end, he's going to the University of South Carolina next year. I don't know how much he'll miss us while he's down in South Carolina. That's why I wore my burgundy tonight, Dan, for you, South Carolina. Congratulations, guys. That concludes the district medal winners for Freehold Township High School. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Sampson?
Thank you, Ms. Higgins. We're going to take a 2-minute recess and come back for regular board business. A few items of interest. For those who have been paying attention, there's a lot of talk about school funding. There are some proposals out there. One in particular that would have potentially significant impacts for the Freehold Regional High School District, and that's State Senator Sweeney's budget proposal. As it sits presently, the School Funding Reform Act of 2008-2007 has not been fully funded other than the first year. And what's happened over time is there's been a disparity in funding, and districts that have had an increase in enrollment have not necessarily seen the funding, as everyone has been held flat over that time. Senator Sweeney's proposal would take something known as adjustment aid from school districts that are, quote unquote, in the state's eyes, overfunded. Mr. Boyce, chime in if I'm off on anything, but overfunded in the state's eyes, and redistribute that to districts that have been underfunded. And at face value, that sounds like it makes sense. The difficulty is that the story within each school community is so nuanced that it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to come up with in layman's terms, a very simplistic solution to a very complex problem. And to put that in perspective, in the Freehold Regional High School District, the state's determination of what our ability to pay is, what our local fair share should be, has not kept pace with the property values of the district. So we don't know the multipliers that the state uses. So it's hard to figure out what's driving that. What I do know is that a school district like the Freehold Regional High School District spends an average of $2,500 less than like districts across the state per pupil, spends $3,000 less than the state average per pupil, and is incredibly efficient and simultaneously high performing. We spend less than 4 of the K-8 districts that send to us per pupil. We run high school districts. It's much more expensive with a lot more moving parts. Because of our regional structure, we have economy of scale, so it allows us to be incredibly efficient. The state senator's proposal would be a $1.2 million hit in this year's budget. It would ultimately be, over the lifespan that is being recommended of 7 years, a $7.1 million or thereabouts impact to funding that we would never be able to make up via property taxes unless some other mechanism is put into play, whether that's a waiver to go beyond the 2% cap. So high-performing, low-spending districts are really at peril with that funding proposal. Now, there's a lot of talk back and forth between the governor's office and the senator. The fact that the governor, a number of the governor's cabinet positions were appointed and Senator Sweeney was blocking, for all intents and purposes, it leads me to believe that a deal is afoot for the budget. I hope that the community members and the taxpayers of the Freehold Regional High School District take a look at how efficient we are, what our funding looks like, and then takes that cry to their local legislators, because I think that we need to continue to have a conversation about what might be fair as it relates to each district's individual story, and we are a unique district that stands to have a massive hit over the next 7 years with that current proposal. So we're obviously advocating about it. I spoke to it at length on a panel discussion with the Garden State Coalition of Schools, where there were a few legislators on the panel there. We've been trying to bring this to the attention of our local representatives, but I would strongly encourage every taxpayer, community member, school parent to do their due diligence and to reach out to their local representatives about what that proposal might look like across the board, because it is dangerously simplistic in its construct.
Just one point that I think is worth highlighting, Mr. Sampson, is that the term overfunded is being used, and really what the state is saying is it's not so much that the district is overall overfunded, it's saying that it receives too much state aid and is proposing shifting the funding from state aid to property taxes. So although the aggregate reduction in the amount of available revenue is what you had mentioned earlier, the other important component of it is that a large component of that reduction in state aid, the funding formula suggests that we should be raising property taxes to offset that loss to the extent that we're able to. So, yeah, it's a difficult situation.
And correct me if I'm wrong though, right? So if all things stay even and we tax to the maximum amount allowed, right, we would have a $7+ million shortfall at the end of that proposal, right?
So based on the fiscal year 18, the budget year that we're wrapping up now, if you were to compare the adopted budget for next year, fiscal 19, 6 years later, in fiscal year 25, we would have $8.4 million less in revenue if we taxed to 2% every year between here and there. So we cannot keep pace with the proposed reductions in state aid over the next 6 years.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. So just to bring to the board's attention, obviously we're well aware of this. We are advocating very vocally and trying to really bring better awareness to a really complex situation. And it's not, I'm not sure that all the folks that are involved in making these decisions really understand the nuances at the local level, and that's why it falls upon us to really advocate and bring these, really clear, sort of compelling arguments about how dangerous this might be to a district like ours, to the powers that be. So that work is ongoing. We've also had the good fortune today to host a feedback session at Manalapan High School in conjunction with the Garden State Coalition of Schools, the New Jersey Department of Education, And Dr. Repollet, the Commissioner of Education, attended the session. I know Mr. Bruno came by and attended the session for a good portion of it, and really looking at what does the next iteration of assessments look like, particularly at the high school level here in New Jersey. The governor ran on a platform that PARC would go away. The federal mandate requires one language arts and one mathematics assessment. There's lots of conversation around what that might look like long term and what the work might be around sort of peeling away some of the state regulations that guide that. That work is underway. I think that Dr. Repollet was clear today that they're moving in that direction. I think they're moving in the right direction. I think it will take some time. And so we had about 40 folks, including a number of students that participated in that feedback session. And I think that the student voices, as in all things, are the most powerful in the information that they bring to those sessions. The issue of students that passed ELA 9, the language arts 9th grade test, but did not sit for the 10th grade test, has not been resolved to this point in time. As it stands today, those students will have to sit for the assessment in the fall for the 10th grade assessment and in the spring for their junior year assessment. If they refuse the test in 10th grade, there was an error in the chart that was provided by the Department of Education that led folks to erroneously believe that was a possibility. The regulations never changed behind it, so the department, I think, is working toward a potential solution. We have about 250 students in this district that would impact. Rather than sort of run willy-nilly and panic and test them this year again, we're waiting to see how that might sort out with the Department of Education so that we don't require them to do anything that they ultimately may not be required to do. As it stands today, they will have to sit for that assessment. Not pass it, sit for it, which speaks to the problematic nature of the regulations and the process that the testing was implemented here in New Jersey. On a couple other notes, we are rapidly approaching the end of the year. The turkey dinner circuit is in full effect. There are more awards and banquets and celebrations occurring than I can name, but it's a terrific time of the year to bring to closure, particularly our senior students. And the beautiful aspect of education is that there's a clear beginning and a clear end to the school year, and you get to bring closure to things. So those festivities are in full swing, and we are enjoying them at this time. And we have graduation the week after the week after this, the 21st. Graduation, the 21st, and we've staggered the times. We do that every year as much as possible to accommodate parents that may have multiple children graduating from multiple schools, and we do our best to stagger the times to accommodate that to the degree to which we can. So we're looking forward to wrapping up the end of the year in what's been a stellar year for the Freehold Regional High School District. That concludes my report.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, at this point I'd like to turn it over to the board secretary and the attorney and see if they needed to add anything at this point to the minutes.
One item, Mr. Messinger, just before the board went into executive session at the beginning of the meeting, it was announced that in addition to the items that's on the agenda, there was an additional item under exception number 3, which was an HIB appeal. Other than that, those were the topics that were discussed.
Okay, we're going to move on to C1 to C6. So this is going to consist of the approval of district operations, the approval of the civil rights coordinators for next school year, approval of the architect of record, approval of the auditor, and approval of medical, dental, vision insurance broker, and then finally appointment of flexible spending account plan administrator. So does anybody want to put forth a motion to adopt the resolution accepting C1 through C6?
Motion.
Second.
I'd like to have to abstain from C2.
Got Mr. Bruno's abstaining from C2. Okay, please take the roll.
Mr. Acetolo?
Yes.
Mrs. Cappiello?
Yes, but on C2, I abstain in regard to Mr. Sampson and Dr. Hazel, please.
Mr. Corolla?
Yes.
Mrs. Fankhauser?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses? Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno, you're abstaining on C2?
C2, yes.
Mr. Messinger?
Yes. All right, moving on to D, which is the approval of the meeting minutes from our meeting on May 21st. Does anybody want to put forth a motion adopting a resolution accepting the minutes?
Motion.
Can I second it?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Acetolo?
Sean, I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there.
Mrs. Cappiello?
Can I just have a clarification of what we're voting on?
This is the minutes.
Okay, yes.
Mr. Corolla?
Yes.
Mrs. Fankhauser?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses? Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Messinger?
Yes. All right, E, communications. Were there any communications received at the board offices that we need to be aware of?
Communications were either distributed or are on file in the board secretary's office.
Okay, moving on to F, board reports. We had a finance committee recently. Mr. Moses, would you like to update the board on what transpired?
Yeah, Finance Committee met May 30th. We sent out an RFP, went out for energy conservation, energy specialists. Only one company replied, Synergistic. They claim that over the next 5 years they could save us over $1 million. Their expertise are useful, and they're not actually trying to sell us anything. They're just trying. They claim that they can save us the money. We tabled the discussion until the lawyer looks at their contract, and we'll be discussing that on July 16th, our next meeting. And the only other thing that came up was we were given a report about all the improvements that are going to be done in each of the schools, and I assume that list can be found with Pat.
That's it?
Oh, the one, and speaking of that last item that Mr. Moses brought up, I just wanted to clarify to the public at large that with respect to the referendum and potential capital improvements, there's no definitive timeline set up, because I heard something about Marlboro High School, and people were talking about where Marlboro High School was going to fall in terms of the spending on the athletic facilities, and I just wanted to clarify that that certainly hasn't been set. So any stories about where the money's getting spent in terms of the calendar just aren't speaking factually. So I just wanted to get that out there. And there were no curriculum and instruction committee meetings or policy committees since our last board meeting. So now we're going to move on to G, which is public participation. Now the first two people who signed up, I don't know if they're going to come up together or one by one, but we have Douglas Doyle and Janice Doyle. Whatever you prefer. Oh, unfortunately, you need to speak into the...
I think that will turn to... Yeah.
All right, the purpose of our visit tonight is, first of all, I guess, congratulations to all the students who won awards earlier, and it's kind of weird that that was happening tonight, because it kind of goes in conjunction with what we want to talk about. Our son is a student within this district. He goes to one of the county vocational schools, so this would be his home school. So our concern has to do with the transportation for him to and from his school. He goes to the Marine Academy of Science and Technology. And we've had some adjustments, issues, etc., with getting him transported back and forth to his school and back here for his eligible extracurricular activities. One of our major concerns is the bus route that was put together by your staff identified a time for him to pick up, which is not feasibly possible to make it from where we live, a few miles down the road, to his school out in Sandy Hook. His bus driver had to push everything back a half an hour or more for all the students on his bus in order to get everybody to Sandy Hook, to their school when the bell rings. The concern I have with that is my son does not have time after an hour and a half on the bus to even go to the bathroom, to see any of his teachers if he had to in the morning. If he had to turn in things to the office, he can't do that. I know from talking to other parents who have students within this regional district who also get busing out to Mass, their buses arrive at the school at 7:30 on a regular basis. My son's getting to school at 10:00 easily, almost every day, if not later. And that's a bit of a concern to me because he doesn't have time to do anything except jump right into school if his bus is on time. He has had several tardiness from transportation. You want to add anything to that?
Right, and the other end of the spectrum is that my son he has to come here to do extracurricular activities. He's an athlete, he's also a musician, and unfortunately, this year, he was not able to participate as much as he would have liked. And I had spoken to numerous people in the district and also in the school. They were very helpful, but unfortunately, it has hampered his ability to excel. He has aspirations to, he's on honors, to make it into the school. He has very good grades. He was on All Shore when he was in middle school. He was on the baseball team. Now he is limited to what he can do because he cannot get here in a reasonable amount of time. The bus driver that he has is phenomenal. He's great. He does a great job. But the route is not, he's the first one picked up, the last one dropped off. He goes all the way out to Howell and comes all the way back. It's really unfortunate because as I sit here and watch all these wonderful students receive their awards, it's heartbreaking to me because he is a phenomenal player on the team and he's also a phenomenal he plays music. So I want to know what I need to do to get this reviewed because I have spoken to Mr. Boyce. I have called the Mr. Sampson's office. I was not able to get through to him. I've spoken to transportation. I've spoken to the principal here and to the athletic director, the music teacher, the coach of the baseball team. I need to know what to do because it's not a reasonable amount of, it's not reasonable to have my son sit on a bus for over an hour and a half, not be able to go to the restroom. As soon as he gets off that, it's a campus. It's not a high school like this, it's a campus. And then also to kind of reduce what he can do here because no fault of his own. He just can't get here because it's an hour. It's 15 minutes in a car, more than an hour and a half on a bus. So I'm asking someone to be able to talk to us. When I was asked about the transportation routes, I was told that they're done by a computer and there's nothing anyone can do about that. I was also told as long as he's there 2 minutes before the bell rings, that's acceptable. And unfortunately, there are other students that get there at 7:30. They are allowed to go to the bathroom. We had to make other arrangements, take money out of our pocket to get him there at the school when he needed to get there early, and also to get him back here. I cannot do it 5 days a week, the whole school term. So I'm asking you, please help us. He's a very good student.
Ms. Lavin,
I don't know, the years that my children were in the district, I thought that as far as the after-school activities, and if they went to the county schools, it was up to the parents to get them back to their home school if they were going to do after-school activities, right? Is he brought back to your home, or is he brought back to the home school after he's completed his day?
As my understanding, he's supposed to be brought back here for the activities, because that would make it a completely unfeasible. You know, he wouldn't be able to do it because he wouldn't get home till 4 o'clock.
So I just want to put this in perspective. I understand your plight, but I also want to just put out there what some of this cost and works for us on the other end. So that singular bus run that we support cost $8,000 a year just for one child. So we pay that, we pay the tuition. So the school's already making an additional investment of $15,000 for your child to attend Mass, because they have that right in the county, and we support those opportunities. So I want to be clear that we're going above and beyond on a financial aspect to support that. But there's, at some point, decisions have to be made. Mass is incredibly far away from our district, and we are beholden to a transportation co-op. When we ask them to map the runs, they map the runs for us. We don't give, you know, one bus for one kid because it is so incredibly cost prohibitive. But ma'am, you're asking us to deliver your child, you know, at when you want him delivered, when we're beholden to all these other things to get him there. And we are doing the best that we can when we review the routes every single year. We certainly review the routes when it's brought to Mr. Boyce's attention. But there's an incredible commitment to have children not have to make choices. So he can still come here and participate. But there is I want to be clear to you that there's an incredible financial investment on our end to make that happen.
Right, and I want to be
double what we pay for other students.
I appreciate that, and I understand that, but I also do pay my real estate taxes.
Sure.
So I know, I pay in excess of $13,000. So I know.
And there are other students from this district that are also attending Mass, and their buses get them to school at 7:30. So how come one bus can't do that?
I have a question for you. I've been an AD in the school system for 18 years. That is the furthest school, Sandy Hook. If he went to Allied Health or Biotech, because he's so far. Now, I remember 10 years ago, we did ask Mass to let the kids out a little bit earlier so we could change the bus route. They wouldn't even do that. So they're very academic, which I get. But they have to understand the kids does need to get back to his home school to participate in the band and the baseball team. They need to show that flexibility also, and they have never really done it in my 18 years here.
Well, they're flexible on certain occasions, like if there is an event that he needs to be at, he can leave early. But in order he can't leave 5 days of the week early. You know, just like when the different people leave early here, they have to fluctuate the classes that they read from. And I understand completely. I'm not asking for a special bus. Right. I'm trying to understand how we can look at it so he's not on the bus for over an hour and a half, and he's going out to Howell. You know, he's passing school, he's passing his house, going out to Howell to come back.
So, as you would imagine, each year as kids graduate, new kids come in, the demand for transportation, the geographic demand changes. And because there are overall so few kids, that could change significantly with just a handful of kids. I'm talking about kids going out to Mass. So it's June. What September holds, I couldn't tell you sitting here at the table. But it's a dynamic that we look at every year and design the most sensible routes that we can. Obviously, it's not always going to be a direct route from home, and that's not what you're asking. But that's something that we look at each and every year, and I can take a look at that and follow up with you to see how that's shaping up for next year.
I would appreciate that. I can tell you that I know there's, it's almost like he paved the way because there's 2 more people from Barcelo going to Mass next year because we met them the other night. And there's also another, I think, 2 children from Howell going. So it's becoming, unfortunately, it's becoming more prevalent. I mean, and from the flip side of it, you should congratulate your academics here, because the school is rated very high, and there are a lot of, there's like at least 2 or 3 students that went to the school system, went to Barklow, that we know of. So it's a wonderful thing, but on the other end, we want him to be able to be well-rounded so he can get into the college of his choice.
I understand what you're saying, but I just want to bring it up again. I've had friends that their kids went to Wall, the communications, and they were involved in, say, Howell High School athletics or band. They still couldn't get back for the time that the practices were, that the parents went out of their way and got them to the school, or they just made a decision, I want communications, I can't do both. It's not because, I understand you're further, but this was here, you're talking about Howell and Wall, and it still was a difficult time for them to get back. They have to be, if they want to be involved in any type of activity, they have to be there on time for practice. So the parents helped out. I mean, everybody's situations are different with work and everything, but I know it's not only you that had that difficulty, and this has been going on years, because I've been involved in the system with my kids since 1994. 93 actually. So it's like, it's been going on a while.
No, I understand, and I completely appreciate that. My thing is when I speak to other parents who are in the same situation that I'm in, and that their children are able to get to the school on time and get back to their school, and maybe not, there's some slight variations, but not an hour and a half. So I'm just looking for some sort of uniformity, where I feel as though he's being given a fair shot, that, and that the bus routes are looked at, because when I'm told that a computer had set it up and there's no human factor, if a human could look, I mean, I don't know if that's wrong or right. I was just told you what I don't, and it wasn't from you, so I'm just what I was told. So I'm just trying to lay it out there that, I appreciate what the town, what the board is doing, and we just want to be able to answer him when he says that he was so excited that he got into the school, and he wanted to come to his home school. He loves it here. That I can give him, all the opportunity possible. And believe me, we have gone over and above. We work for the government, so we understand the situation.
Well, hopefully the next school year might be advantageous for you, depending on where the students are situated for the next run.
What do I do, when that comes? Because it usually comes like the first day, and then that is really not, whatever the time is, it's really not the time. And then that kind of falls out, and then once I'm left with what it is, who do I talk to about if there's an issue?
You have to be involved in that.
Right.
I'm sorry?
Right, it would be me. Now sometimes, not sometimes, almost always, in the beginning of the year, it's in all bus runs. Things need to shake out on timing-wise as the routes settle in. But there should not be any significant change, and if there is, then the bus passes would be regenerated with the appropriate time, the revised time sent back out. So it should be it should be a reliable pickup time in the morning, getting out there. But like I said, I'll talk to the transportation director and I'll follow up with you and see how September's shaping up.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Next up is William Burlew from Freehold.
I find it interesting that everybody's talking about saving money, and we came to with a proposal. My daughter's been out of district. She's special needs. The school that she was in wasn't working for her. She was regressing in math, even though she was getting straight A's. We reached out to Ms. Taylor, Director of Special Services, no help. Caseworker, no help. Sent emails saying we were going to start looking at other schools. Weren't offered any. We found another school. It ticks all the boxes. It's an out-of-district placement. She's already out of district, so the district's already paying. It happens to be $20,000 less than where she's supposed to be right now. I know we filed the process, and I'm sure that the lawyer's going to say that you guys aren't allowed to discuss this. That's fine. You don't have to talk. Since then, we've had an eligibility meeting. We did not get an IEP 30 days later, even though we're supposed to. We did get a list of schools to look at without an IEP. One of the schools isn't on the clearinghouse and clearly states on their website that we do not accept kids who are on the spectrum. The rest of the schools are all for lower functioning autistic. My daughter happens to be very high functioning, she's college bound. We've been willing to negotiate. We've been told by Ms. Taylor that money is no object, which now I find hard to believe because I've heard everybody up there say, oh, we need to save money. Busing. So right now, transportation isn't an issue. She's in Florida. If, for whatever reason, she ends up back in New Jersey and goes to another school, all of which the 7 that were listed, that were sent to us, are all more expensive than the placement that she's at in Florida. With transportation, some of these schools are upwards of 2 hours away. I think one is in Egg Harbor Township. You might be able to verify that. The rest of them, one's in Somerset, one's in Little Egg Harbor. I think busing is anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 to get my child back and forth. She would have to get up at some ungodly hour in the morning, drive there. By the time she would get home, depending on traffic, would be somewhere around 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. Not much left for social skills or for us to be able to do anything. But once again, we're willing to negotiate some other factors. She's eligible until she's 22. We're willing to negotiate that 4th year away. We're willing to negotiate travel costs to and from Florida, just maybe just for her to get back and forth for trips for spring break. So I'm willing to save you guys over the next 4 years anywhere from $140,000 to $150,000. With no negotiations, like I said, we were told the money's not an object.
Well, unfortunately,
I'll address that. It's okay, Mr. Messinger?
I know you guys...
As Mr. Ballou noted, the matter presently is in litigation. I know the Child Study Team has communicated with you directly on several occasions as to why your request was denied. It's presently with the Office of Administrative Law.
Yes.
We're not going to engage in public negotiation. If you'd like, sir, we could have a public discussion about why the request was denied and what the specific issues were.
We weren't told exactly. We haven't figured out why.
Well, we're not. So, no, sir. You brought the issue to the forefront, trying to make a public statement and try to assume that. Well, then I'm going to respond in kind.
Please go ahead.
So we can have a public discussion as to why the program that you're requesting has been denied and why your requests are unreasonable. We can have a public discussion. You've opened that door.
Okay.
We can have it right now if you like, on camera. I know you're represented by counsel. Maybe you should check with counsel.
I'm allowed as a taxpayer to come here and voice my opinion.
You have opened the door, sir. What I'm saying is you should probably check with counsel before opening this door in a public forum.
I wanted the board to hear there's a money savings issue here.
The Board of Education is not a party to the IEP team process, which you well know. Okay? So I would suggest, sir, you check with your counsel before opening this door on television.
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
thank you for coming. All right. There are a couple of changes to the agenda with respect to H1 through L3 that Mr. Boyce is going to speak about.
So I-9 is approval of lease purchase. We accepted bids on Friday. Mrs. Smith reviewed those bids with our financial advisor, and recommendation was handed out to the board earlier tonight. It's also on the table in the back for that award. Also, there are two changes on the agenda as posted. H5, the approval of cafeteria proctor lunch duty appointments. Remove the name Kimberly Sincata at Howell High School and add the name Deanna Markovich at Howell High School. Also on H15, approval of reappointments for coaches, substitutes, home instructors, volunteer personnel. Under the heading Home Instructors, change the name Paula Andriacci to Jean Andriacci. And those are the changes for the agenda.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Boyce. All right, does anybody want to put forth a motion to adopt a resolution on accepting items H1 through L3?
Motion. Second.
All right, Mr. Boyce, would you like to take the roll?
Yes. Mr. Acetola?
Yes on all.
Mrs. Capiello?
Yes on everything but H16, and on K7 in regard to Howell High School, I abstain. And I abstain on H16 also.
So, just so that's clear, there was an abstention as to H16 and K7 as it pertains to Howell.
Thank you. Mr. Carollo?
Yes.
Mrs. Fankhauser?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes, but I abstain from H16 and K7 as to Marlboro High School.
Mr. Messinger?
Yes. All right, moving on to old business. Does anybody have any old business they want to discuss?
Michael, just one quick statement. Jim Gill is finishing his 39th year at Freehold Borough High School, and I just wanted to acknowledge what a great teacher he has been over those years, and being head of the computer science program. I'm sure the borough is going to miss him.
Is there any new business anyone would like to discuss? All right, does anybody want to now put forth a motion to go into executive session?
Yes, you can. Yeah, I will.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, just for point of clarification, the reason the board's going into executive session is for an HIV appeal, and it's anticipated that the board will return to public session at the conclusion of executive session, and the board should return no later than 9:45.